All right, so in this last cycle, this last set of seven, the one that started with the dragon and the woman and the birth and the whole seed of the woman and dragon, we are shown it zooms in on the third part of the story. It really stops and shows us a horrific picture of the beast, the Antichrist, and his kingdom rising from the sea and dominating the entire world. And it says that those followers of Christ who are captured, you're going to be captured. It's not a happy short term. In the immediate story, it is not a happy ending for the people of God. We are captured, we are killed, and we are given the choice between taking the mark of the beast or starving to death. And it tells us very plainly in Revelation chapter 13:10 what this is trying to stir us up to. It's trying to stir us up and say, endure, keep going, stay following Jesus Christ. Don't bow the knee in that day, right? And so we ask ourselves the question, why would anybody choose the losing side? Why would I choose to either be captured, killed, or starved to death instead of just enjoying the fruits of this worldwide empire, right? Chapter 14 is the answer. If chapter 13 shows us the short-term fate of the saints, that we are killed in part 3 of the story, chapter 14 reminds us and gives us the encouragement of looking to the heavenly side of things, the heavenly fate of the saints. So let's look at chapter 14 now. We're here at our story, and we go to chapter 14. This has just been the end, the mark of the beast, and we're going to be given an ultimatum. And then it turns to chapter 14. It says, "Then I looked, and behold, on Mount Zion." Now, I will defend this in just a minute. We'll see that this is accurate in just a second. But let's draw a picture of Mount Zion here. This is my mountain. I know, it's horrible. I'll even show you the whole thing so you can see how bad of an artist I am. There's Mount Zion, right? Well, I got that glare from going that high. Let's turn the light off. All right. It is a heavenly picture. When he turns and looks to Mount Zion, he sees a heavenly, he's looking so it's down here, we're being slaughtered, we're dying, and he gets glimpses into heaven. Now, it says, "And behold, on Mount Zion stood the Lamb." So that's where the king is during this point. He's up enthroned in heaven. But who is with him? 144,000. Now, we looked carefully back in the seals. Who are the 144,000? It's all the people who come to Christ in saving faith throughout this entire age. So he's saying, he looks here, and down here we are getting our heads cut off. We are being captured. We are being starved to death. We are suffering, and we are dying for Christ when this bad part comes. But then he looks in heaven, and we're fine. All of us, we're with the King. We are reigning with Christ. And he says, let's finish reading in 14. He says, "And with him the 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the roar of many waters and like the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the sound of the harpists playing on their harps. And they were singing a new song," right? When did we see them singing a new song? Revelation 5, before the throne, right? But let's keep going. So it says, and they were, verse 3, look at that. They were singing a new song before the throne. Where is the throne in the story thus far in the book of Revelation? The throne's in heaven. He's looking at a heavenly Zion, a heavenly picture. He says, a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures. Where did we see the 4 living creatures? In heaven, right? He says, and before the elders. Where did we see the elders? Revelations chapter 4 and 5, in heaven. All this together is just to prove that what he's seeing here is he's seeing that all our fate looks really gruesome and dark right around here. But what we don't see on earth is what our real fate is. That if you can kill a believer in Jesus Christ and they are okay. And you see why we need to know this in part 3 of the story, because he's calling us that when someone, and actually he's saying the same thing in part 2, when someone puts a gun to your head and says, renounce Jesus Christ, you look at them and you say, Jesus Christ is Lord, and you're going to be okay. Right? That's the story. That's the encouragement that's being offered here in 14. We're seeing in this cycle the most horrific look at number 3 in all of Revelation, and he's giving us the encouragement to know, hold firm even there. Right? Now, just aside, it says that these guys here there's no lie. It says 2 things about them. No lie in their mouth, and they're virgins. Now, that's confusing. I'm tempted not to say anything about it because it's not important to the 5-part story, but let me I'll try to address it, right? Then when we look at the 144,000, and I am saying that they are all believers of all time, and this book, 14 is saying no, they're virgins. And there are some people who are not virgins and they get saved. And I'm saying that these non-virgin Christians are here. In fact, I would be one of those numbered. I have 3 kids. I didn't get to having 3 kids by being a virgin, and yet I still am saying I am part of the 144,000. To understand what it is saying there, remember, this is apocalyptic literature. It's addressing 2 of the big enemies, right? So let's think, what 2 of the big enemies that we're going to see in the book of Revelation, we're going to see the second beast, and one we have not been introduced to yet is the prostitute, right? Now, the second beast we just finished seeing. It is going to be someone that it is going to be an entity, and I think it's more of an organization, but whatever you want to think, whether it's individual or entity, it doesn't matter. But this person's goal, judging by what we've just read in Revelations 13, 11 through 18, is to force you to worship the beast. What they want is coming out of your mouth that Satan is Lord, right? And so what we see is that of these people, which are all the saved of all history, right, and especially the saved that coming out of the great time of turmoil down here, is they are people that the lie of Satan is not in their mouth. No lie in their mouth. They remain true to claiming Christ is Lord, not Satan. The lies, that dragon speak, that satanic lies, that deceit is not in their mouth. It's not that they never told a fib in their entire life, right? And the same idea is what is going on with the virgins. They have not sold out to the prostitute. And so in the sense that they have not given in to the prostitute, which we are going to meet 2 cycles in the 6th set of 7s, that these, they in that sense, they are virgins and no lie in their mouth. They have remained holy against the 2 enemies of this age. That's what's going on with the no lies and the virginity thing there. It is all the saints of all time, and we stand our ground, we hold to our faith, and we're okay. In fact, that's what we see. We are with Christ in heaven, clothed with dignity, rejoicing. That's what's going on in this age. In contrast to that, when we continue in Revelation 14, let's jump over to verse 9. And another angel, a third, followed them, saying with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he will also drink the wine of God's wrath, poured full strength into the cup of his anger, and he will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, these worshipers of the beast and its image. And so what we see here is that it arms us with the mindset to endure this. Stay true to Christ, because no matter how horrible of a fate you come to down here on earth, you are going to rejoice forever with the King. And no matter, and if you preserve your life down here by selling out and worshiping the beast, you are going to face the wrath of the Lamb when he returns, and you're going to be tormented forever and ever and ever. Therefore, hold fast to Jesus Christ. The cycle of sevens that is in chapters 12, 13, and 14 is telling the same story again in just a different way.